Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Art, Tech, and Games. My name is Gilbert Matos, and today I'm going to teach you how to make one-way slash jump-through platforms in Gamemaker Studio 2. Before we jump into this, here's a bit of a disclaimer. This video handling one-way platforms might not be suited for your game, based on how you handle gravity and other things. You can try and see how to implement this into your game. However, this video is meant to get you thinking on how to set up a feature like this in your games. So let's just jump into the demo. This is what you guys are going to be able to do by the end of this video. So as you can see, you can go right through platforms, press down and fall down without a problem. You can also be touching other platforms and it works just fine. So I have different heights in this video so you guys can see, how it works. I'm going to be sharing this demo in the description down below. You guys can actually tinker around with it and see, what the project has. All right. Let's talking and let's get coding. All right, guys, so the first thing that we're going to start doing is we're going to create a new object and we're going to name it O Jump Through Platform. As you can see, we don't need to put anything in it. Just assign a sprite to it and that's pretty much it. Close it. After that, we're going to go into the room and we're going to set up everything the way we need to. So we're going to place a bunch of these platforms like so, and you just throw in the player. Then after that, we're gonna go and create a new script, and we're gonna call this script Jump Through Collisions. In this case, I named mine SCR, short for script, underscore Jump Through Collisions. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna open that, and we're gonna assign the 3 slashes. And we're going to add param, meaning parameter, object name. So that's going to be the name of the object that we're going to be using to check for collisions with. So after that, we need to assign an argument to a temporary variable. So in this case, we're going to call this obj, and we're going to do argument 0. And that's pretty much it for that one. And then we're going to create another temporary variable called falling. And that's going to be VSP. You just have to change it for whatever you use for this, for the vertical speed. So it's more than 0. That means that we're falling. And the last, we're gonna do our collision checking. We're gonna store in this variable called jump through. Not jump through. Let's call it something else. It's gonna be platform below, right? Equals instance place x, y plus vertical speed, and then, obj. And that's pretty much it for this one. Now, instance place is basically place meeting. But the difference between these two functions is that instance place returns the ID of the instance that your object collided with, or it returns no one, meaning no collision whatsoever. So right now, we can go ahead and do our first checks. So the first thing is we just want to run this code when we're falling, right? So we do if falling, right? And then curly braces, we'll go ahead and say if platform below is not equal to no one, right? If there's something below us, underneath us, right? Now we are gonna create another temporary variable called not clipping. We can call this not clipping. Yeah, not clipping. I'll call it not clipping. You can call it whatever you want. So not clipping, and we can check right now for no collisions whatsoever with anything else. So we're gonna say not place meeting y, and then we're gonna do obj, not obj, I'm sorry. We're going to do platform below. So platform below is basically storing the ID of the platform that we just collided with. So we can use that to check with that specific platform. So if we're falling and then we have a platform right underneath us, right? Store that ID and then put it in not clipping to check for no collisions within our bounding boxes, right? So within our collision mask. We need to use not clipping right away because we need to make sure that the instance that we collided with, right, is underneath us, like 1 pixel underneath us, and we're not overlapping. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say if not clipping, right, then we're gonna put our while loop right in here. So it's gonna be while not place meeting xy plus 1, and then we do platform below, right? Then we're gonna allow the player to move 1 pixel at a time, right? And then right after that, we need to set our vertical speed to 0. So let me explain all of this one more time. So first, we need to check to see if we're falling. That's the first part, right? Now, the second part is platform below, right? So we need to check that there's a platform below, and therefore we use instance place, and we store its ID on platform below already. So we can do var, right? Not clipping, and then we do place meeting with that ID, the ID of that object. So if we do this and we run the game, we should be able to see what happens. I completely forgot to tell you that you're supposed to put your script before your collisions, your regular collisions, right? For your solid object, you're supposed to put your jump through collisions. So once you have the first part of the script done, just make sure you call the script whatever you're calling your collisions, right? But you need to do it right above them, like so. So you can see here. So you have the the jump through collisions, and then the argument that we're passing through, which is the platform, of course. I forgot to do that, so I'm very sorry about that. So I'm just making this video, just making this portion of the video, so you guys know, you don't have to be wondering what the hell is going on, why collision is not working, and whatsoever. Let's run the game. Let's take a look, and let's see. So far, so good. It's working nicely. As you can see, we don't fall. We don't fall through the platform, so we stay right there. We don't have to do anything else. However, we cannot jump, so that really sucks. And we cannot also fall through the platform. So let's fix that. So that's pretty much it for the first part of this video. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to check for when we are on top of the platform, right? We need to make sure that we're exactly on top of the platform, 1 pixel above it, right? So we're gonna create another temporary variable. We're gonna call this platform 1 pixel. Let's call it platform. No, on platform. Let's call this, yeah, on platform equals, and we're gonna use for this collision rectangle, and I'll explain why. So hold on, I'm not typing right. Collision rectangle. We're gonna do bbox left, bbox bottom, bbox right, and bbox bottom plus 1. And then after that, we're gonna pass the object, and let me see, is gonna be obj, which is fine. False and false, so we don't have to worry about any of that. And we're gonna do if on platform, this is what you might be familiar with this already, is not equal to no one, right? If there's something below us, then we need to make another check. We need to make sure that we're not inside the platform, right? So we're gonna create another temporary variable. So we're gonna call this var not inside platform equals collision rectangle bbox left, bbox bottom minus 1, bbox right, and bbox bottom once again. And then we do on platform, false and false, like so. Now we need to add the exclamation mark, the exclamation sign. I'm sorry. So what this is basically doing is the same job that instance place does, but the big difference here is that I'm going to be checking right, like one for this first part, right? I'm going to be checking 1 pixel below the b-box bottom. That's the bounding box of the instance, so it's going to be 1 pixel below that point. So that's what this portion of the code does right here. So it's just b-box bottom. That's the bounding box at the bottom, the sprite. And then we have b-box bottom again. So if this is b-box bottom, right, b-box bottom plus 1 should be like 1 pixel right underneath it, right? The good thing with this is that it allows us to check for collisions on that area all along the x-axis of the sprite, right, of the bounding box. So that's why we do b-box left, right, which is the left side of the collision mask. And then the right side is b-box right, of course. And you have b-box left plus b-box right, right? So that's the entire width of the collision mask. So we're checking horizontally right there. And then we do b-box bottom. And then we do right next to it, b-box bottom plus 1. So it's basically, we're doing like a small rectangle that moves down a little bit. So he has like a very, very slim or thin line to check for collision. So this is really good because the code that I used to run before had the problem that when you were touching a platform from, like, let's say your waist up or your head, you would just fall right through it because I was just checking for any instance. And in this case, that doesn't happen. But I'll explain what actually happens with this because it's not perfect. Okay, so let's move on to the next section. So right here, we need to then check, right, for, once again, the same thing. We don't have to do equals no one because we are just using this to check for collisions. So that's pretty much it. We're actually checking for no collisions whatsoever. So again, it says not inside platform, right? And that's pretty much it. So right here, we basically do the jumping code. So you can put in your jumping code. I put mine in a script. You can call this, jump code. So you don't have to rewrite it all the time. It's just not worth it. So you just put, if you press jump, blah, blah, I already have this variable, this jump variable, and another script called controls, and this is what I have. So, I have down, keyboard, left and right, and all that using the arrow keys, which is fine. And yeah, so that's it for this. This is what the jumping code script does. So I don't have to type that all the time. And the good thing about this is that we can just say jumping code. We do jump code. So we gotta do ser jump code. Boom. And we should be able to jump without a problem. So let's run the game and check that out. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what happens when we press jump. We jump just fine. As you can see, we're falling right through the platform. We're able to jump just fine, and the code is working flawlessly. Pretty nice. I like that. So we're able to just jump. No problems. No problem whatsoever. I like this. It's pretty awesome. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Pretty cool. So again, we can jump right through it. No problem. It's already working. But if I'm not mistaken, we have just one small problem with this. Let me see if I can replicate it. Okay, so that looks like the problem is not present in this version of the code, so that's actually good. Some good news. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. Okay. So back at it again. Some more code. Now we want to make sure that if we press down, we fall right through the platform. So the only thing that we need to do, obviously, is right underneath this, or whatever you want, but right inside on this code block, is if we press down, right, we just add to the y. So we can do y++, but I like to do more than that. I'll do y plus, let's make a variable for this, temporary variable, amount, let's call it amount. And then we're gonna say 4. That should be fine. And then we say amount. Boom. And then once again, we run the game. And let's see what happens. Then we move around, we press down, and we fall right through the platform. As expected. Pretty sweet, right? So I guess that's pretty much it for today. So we can jump right through the platform. We can fall through it as well. We can fall down right through it. And yeah, it looks pretty sweet. Look at that. Beautiful code working flawlessly. Now, a couple of things that I need to mention about this is even though this is pretty cool and it works without a problem, quote unquote, right? Because again, nothing is bug free. Can only do so much. Now, let's see what happens if we get the platform a little closer than what they are. As you can see, like there's no problem. Like I'm colliding with the platform right above me. No problem. Like look at this. These two are like really close. So it's pretty cool. But now let's see what happens if we do the two following things. Let's just switch. Go ahead and switch. And now we're gonna go into the room editor. And in this case, I'm just gonna go ahead, zoom in, right? I'm gonna move my player. I'm gonna move him there. And then again, I'm gonna change this a little bit. So this is the platform. I'm gonna shrink the size of this thing. I'm gonna make it really tiny, really slim, right? And I'm gonna copy it and paste it. Boom. And I'm gonna put it like, let's see how many pixels above it. Let's say 2 pixels right above that, right? That's like 2 pixels or so. Okay, let's put that right there and let's see what happens. So let me just move my player once again, move it all the way here so that we can have that right there. And we're gonna run the game once again and see what happens. Let's switch. And now we're good. Okay, so again, let's see what's going on. So as you can see right here, if I jump from like this height, I'm not colliding properly with the first platform, right? I'm going right through it. See? So, but I'm colliding with the second one, which is good, right? At least, you know, collisions are not failing. But as you saw right there, we went right through both of them at the same time, and that is not very good. And I'll explain why. So the reason why we went right through the platform was because when you're going down, remember that we're checking with our vertical speed, right? So if our vertical speed is like 2 pixels, let's say, we're checking 2 pixels below our y-axis, right? That's one thing. The other thing is, because of that, if we're going faster, those 2 platforms are really slim. And because of that, when we check, let's say, 5 pixels below our y-axis, if the platforms are like 2 pixels and we're checking 5, we're actually going right through them. Like we're checking past them for 3 pixels. So there was never a collision in the first place. So that's one thing. That's why you need to make sure that your platforms are, fairly thick, so that they have, that kind of girth or height, should I say? So that's one thing. And the other thing is, If you do make them smaller and slimmer like this, just make sure you don't align them like so. Make sure that you align them this way. Let me show you. Let me just run the game again. Let me just rerun the game. But before I do that, let me just show you. If I have this platform, let's say, let's hit P because I'm tired of just grabbing that. If the platform is right here and this one is right here, we should have no problems. But before I run the game, I'm going to show you like so. So I need to have both of them in different places so that you guys can better see that. Okay, so once again, we ran the game. Let me switch. We ran the game. Now the game is a little bit different. We still have the platforms, right? And look at that. I fell right through it. So remember what I told you? There's still collisions. Look at that. We still collide, no problem. But this is what's going to happen because of what I just explained. We still collide with it. Just make them thicker. That's pretty much it. Make them thicker and you will have nothing to worry about. Okay guys, so if you like what you saw, if you found it useful, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and you can ask any questions in the comments, as I said before. Let me know what you think. Do you find this cool? Did you know this? What's your approach? How do you do this? Show me. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I think in the next video, I'm going to be covering how to make vertically moving platforms and horizontally moving platforms. So we're going to be using this same code to allow the player to be pushed by parented vertically moving platforms. So this is going to be pretty awesome. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.